Is Finland. It could well be an epic encounter. Russia await the winners in the semi-final. Who is going to get that?
Spain have already showed us a little bit more depth than we maybe expected to see from them with their win over Sweden to take top spot in their group. But Finland are a little bit of a different beast. I'd say less flawed, less cracks in the armory, but here are our maps.
Kings Row, Hanamuра, and into Li장tawo if we require it. We needed it for the French game against Russia. Will we need it again?
I mean, at this stage, looking at between these two, if Finland don't come out strong, then yes, we will. I think it'll go all the way in that case. Spain are looking very, very good. And like I said, a bit more depth to this roster than we perhaps first expected. Keep your eyes on neptuNo and, of course, BromaS, BroMizzle, in some circles called Mojo Brojo. He is definitely going to be the spearhead for Spain here. Look to see him dealing all the damage.
How many names does this man have? Who knows?
He's well-known, well-travelled individual.
He has actually stepped up his performance as well here in the Overwatch World Cup. But here we go. It is going to be Kings Row to begin with. As you can see, the Spanish will be defending start. And, of course, we are going to see neptuNo on May. Pescanova, absolutely magnificent on Zai throughout this tournament. And BromaS, the main damage dealer, the man to watch. But HarryHook is the man pulling the strings in the background.
That's right, being on that Anna, he's been very, very good at keeping himself alive and doing the same for his teammates. But Finland are going to start with the Hymzi pick here. They're looking to try and pick someone out of the mix in Spain, get a 6v5 situation, and then try and exacerbate that. They've also got Hymzi, so both Taimou and Hymzi are playing heroes that have that one-hit kill potential. There's the hook, and HarryHook is going to now fall to his namesake.
That is what Hymzi is in this team for. He can land magnificent hooks. Crazy hit percentage earlier on in the tournament with those hooks, and that could cause a massive problem. Without the support player, they don't have a great deal. No biotic grenade to get them healed up. But BromaS getting picked up by Taimou there, putting all the damage down. But Pescanova's managed to find mafu, and Taimou strikes once again. And this is looking like Finland will take the first point.
Blizzard coming out here. This fight was slow enough of a roll for neptuNo to have the one ready to go. And now he's going to be walking through the Winter Wonderland. A couple of right clicks there into Hymzi, but he's dodging them. The mechanics of this man now is going to take a breather and get the hell back. neptuNo's like, I'm just going to try and sweep that one under the rug, but eventually Hymzi's going to come forth.
BromaS is back at last, and finally Hymzi is allowed out of his little ice cave. And well, Spain holds strong. Finland did manage to get themselves the first marker on a site, so that payload is just 2 blips away from being captured out.
The only way that Hymzi could have styled more on that situation is to walk out and flip a water bottle. That's the only way. Impressive stuff from him. But Taimou now has that Dragon Strike ready to go into this next fight. Sound barrier is available for Finland to weather a little bit of the retaliatory damage, but Spain have 2 very important ultimates as well.
Are they going to use the Dragon Strike to maybe force them away from the point? Who knows? The wall goes down. They're going to try and separate them there. It's going to be the nano boost on BromaS, but he quickly gets earth-shattered down. Does manage to get himself back up. There's the sound barrier going down. BromaS managed to hit the Death Blossom, gets himself a quick triple, wipes out Finland once again, and the nano boosted Reinhardt is not going to be enough for Finland.
Do you see how hard it is to play against a Reaper that has a nano boost there? He was knocked down by the Earth Shatter, but LiNkzr didn't hit the charge or didn't elect the charge BromaS. BromaS picks himself up and gets 3 quick kills. That's how punishing it can be to let a Reaper spend any time doing damage or doing whatever he wants during that ultimate.
So, Spain continue to hold. Just 2 minutes left on the clock for Finland. Wouldn't this be an upset to begin with if Spain could hold out against Finland? Still plenty of time though, and Finland have a good charge here. Mafu not too far away from getting that Graviton Surge ready to go. And of course, pairing that with the Dragon Strike could be deadly.
Mafu now as well, just setting himself up. He's well ready to go for his ultimate here, but the Graviton Surge comes in the other direction first. And BromaS, it's so easy. He's just going to chip away at Finland as they fall apart. Winghaven and neptuNo getting involved in there as well. And Winghaven holding onto that Earth Shatter for the next fight. BromaS did enough damage there to charge up his next Death Blossom.
He does indeed. Earth Shatter is well available for Winghaven, but now Mafu has the Graviton Surge. The combo with the Dragon Strike could be crucial. You can see him charging it up, ready, waiting to go. They're just going to let those walls clear out. Now Mafu, keep your eyes on this man. He's going to make a quick charge in. He's going to get sped up by Tseini. Here he goes. Graviton Surge comes in. The Dragon Strike will follow on. Is it going to be enough? You bet your life it will be. Taimou gets himself a quad kill. He's going to clear out the site, and that will be Finland finally capping out the point once they deal with the follow-up.
4 minutes into the first push, Finland finally managed to cobble together the ingredients for a decent fight. It took them quite a long time, and to be fair, in terms of how Kings Row normally works, longer than expected. Spain put up a very good defense. They used BromaS in the backline to take out those crucial parts of the wombo combos, getting rid of things like Hanzo's, jumping on top of Reinhardt's to make sure that Finland could assemble what they needed to win the fight.
Fantastic stuff. Taimou makes the switch now over to the McCree, so he starts to ditch out that Dragon Strike. Job done with that one, and keep obviously the maneuverability that he has with McCree. Start flicking for those heads. HarryHook, though, going aggressive with the rest of his team. They're going to try and wall out, of course, this archway. It's a very little tricky point, and this is a great position for the defensive team to go aggressive because they will get themselves a chance to push back in. BromaS hooked out the side, though. Winghaven goes aggressive. The nano boost on him. He's swinging for the fences, gets himself a quick triple, comes around. The Blizzard also used. Now, a lot of ultis used for Spain, but it will buy them another precious minute of time.
And here's why that nano boost is so important. Winghaven started that fight with 0% of his next ultimate. He finished it with 64, and then Hymzi, there's nowhere to go. The wall comes up. Anna's ultimate, the nano boost, is an ultimate that feeds into consequent ultimates. The fact that Winghaven now has himself the Earth Shatter because he got ulted is huge.
So, aggressive stuff this time from Finland. You can see Spain, they've already backed away from this one. They knew they were going to get hit back. Countered pretty hard here by the Finns as they try and get around. They have that combo once again ready to go. This time the whole Hawk charged up along with that nano boost. Mafu looking to try and find himself a charge. It's only at 20%, so it's not a great charge. Not doing a great deal of damage. He's not going to work that shield down of Winghaven at the moment, who's been magnificent so far. There's the Blizzard coming around the corner. It's actually gone around the back of them. Winghaven pushes in to try and go aggressive, but Taimou manages to land himself a couple of shots. Deadeye's still available, hasn't used that. LiNkzr's getting picked off. There comes the big heal, and now Finland are going to push on through. A great fire strike there, kept himself a double.
2 for the price of 1 there for LiNkzr, and well done, of course. Still to Winghaven, who baited out the Earth Shatter. LiNkzr still got his own back in the end, but it's time to talk about Taimou Lee. 68% accuracy for Taimou on that McCree. 10k damage right now. A huge proportion of what Finland's done as a team. This guy has been at the helm.
So, final stretch. 2 minutes 20 on the clock. This is doable by Finland now. What was looking like a magnificent defensive setup from Spain is starting to look a little worrying. Pescanova, though, has that Graviton Surge, there it is, popped out the side, aggressive stuff comes in, the hook doesn't land from Hymzi, the follow-on comes through, there's BromaS getting the Death Blossom down with the boost, and he will collect himself up a bunch of kills. Finland wiped off the map, 2 minutes to go, and they're forced back to the spawn point. You can see them setting up for it.
And the Bile Grenade from zappis wasn't enough to keep Finland healthy enough there with the onslaught that was coming in their direction. Since Zenyatta being less played lately now, there's not much to protect, but you can see here BromaS, very, very easy. He's breakdancing, and to be fair, Finland are dancing with him. They're being cut down.
Blizzard just got used. We're going to come straight out of it into this Blizzard, who we can see immediately is down. He's going to try and slow things down, but Hymzi manages to get the hook in. He pulls linepro out of position. neptuNo, wow, that wall was absolutely clutch. Almost scored him out of position there. But now you can see Spain. They're a little splintered right now. Taimou's going to get himself that Deadeye down. It doesn't get anything. So there's a lot of ultis being used out by Finland there for not a great deal of effect. And there's only a minute left.
Yeah, good disengage there by Finland, but Spain, should I say, but there's still a little bit more to be done here. BromaS actually got out. Even though he had a nano boost, he used his Wraith Form to escape.
BromaS is around the back of them at the moment, so they need to be careful they don't get flanked. You can see them backing up. 1 minute to go on the clock. Pescanova has himself a Graviton Surge as well as Mafu on your screen as they push in. BromaS back with the rest of his team as they try and force it around the corner.
Both Zarya players in this game have struggled to really get good energy charged up, but there's the Graviton Surge. It's a mutual Graviton, in fact, but who's going to do the most damage? Pescanova's trying to follow up on his own. neptuNo goes in towards the ice block here, and it's going to be Spain with the first couple kills.
There's only 44 seconds left. They're starting to wipe Spain off, Finland, off the map here. BromaS picked himself up another. Finland are forced to regroup with 30 seconds left. They're going to be hitting this payload in overtime to try and finish the map.
And there's a lot available for Spain here. The Blizzard, the Death Blossom, they've got everything they need here to stop this next push for Finland. It's going to take something incredible for the Finns to get through. It's time to see them step up to the plate.
zappis looking for his target. Who's he going to boost? Is it going to be the Reinhardt? Is it going to be LiNkzr? He's going to get forced in there. There's Taimou going around the corner. He's managed to switch, but there's a quick nano boost. It doesn't work out for BromaS though. Hymzi manages to get the hook in. That's a big boon in the armor of Spain. You can see Finland, they're coming out on top. They've taken down neptuNo as well. He didn't get to use the Blizzard. He didn't get a chance to slow things down, and Finland are going to push it through towards the end. neptuNo's going to at least be able to use a Blizzard on the final point though. There's actually going to be harder to escape that when you're in that corralled area. But here come Finland, they're going to push straight on down. It is overtime. The payload moving straight through. Needs to be still coming in from the side now. We do hear the Graviton Surge coming in. zappis going to get the nano boost away as well. Try and push LiNkzr forward, but he's going to get frozen if he walks in towards a snowy area. Big Earth Shatter coming out from Winghaven, knocks 2 down, and there's the Graviton. It's going to go straight back in, but they're only going to get the damage down. It's Mafu and LiNkzr there. Mafu's backed himself in the corner. He's got the full beam going, but Pescanova comes in. LiNkzr's the last man on point. Can he get down with? The Earth Shatter comes down. He swims onto neptuNo. LiNkzr's going solid for Finland right now, but he will be cleared out linepro finally gets in there, and Spain hold strong. It is simply a distance marker for Finland, but it is right at the end of the map.
It is very rare to see teams manage to hold a solid defense here at the top level on a map like Kings Row. Impressive stuff from Spain, and again, we've got to talk about pretty much the same names there as well. BromaS with a lot of damage, 15k damage for BromaS here as well. But on the other side of the coin, let's see what Taimou from Finland has to say.
My name is Timo Kettunen, known as Taimou, and I play DPS for Team Finland. I've been playing FPS games for over 10 years competitively, and I think that's one of the reasons that gives me an edge in the competition. Before I even started playing Overwatch, I wanted to become a pro in the game, so I just gave it my all. I'm an emotional player, so sometimes I play super aggressive, and sometimes I play super passive. It means the world to me because I feel like it is my last chance.
Feels like it is his last chance. It's a big thing to say, but I mean, here he's taking his chances quite wellly in this last map. 14k for him, very close to BromaS. I mean, he definitely is matching up nicely against his opponent there, but before we jump a little bit further, that last fight very briefly, I mean, we talked about how much of an ultimate advantage that Spain actually had going into that last stretch, but it was the sound barrier from Finland and Hymzi managing to hook in the Reaper that got nano boosted. If you can isolate players like that, you were going to be able to win a fight, even at a big ult disadvantage. But now it's going to be Finland defending this time, and it's a big job ahead. They finished their half with only 2 points lead. Much to be done here.
Yeah, and of course, you know, look back to that last round, you can see the versatility that Finland had, obviously. Talking just with Taimou there, you can see he's on main now. He played Reaper, he played Hanzo, he played McCree. He has a lot of heroes in his bag. But here we go. It is their turn to defend. You can see Taimou this time is going to be the man to try and split Spain off. neptuNo getting himself just a little vision. He is going to switch away from Hanzo, so they're not going to stick to it for the Dragon Strike like the Finns used. Instead, they're going to try and grab themselves up, and he's coming in with a Mei on attack.
Yeah, so this strategy for Spain is a little bit more robust. It's easier to play, and maybe it's safer, providing you give the Reaper enough protection. But sometimes it's not as impactful, it's not as explosive. You don't have the risk factor or the chance of pulling someone out and getting the 5v6.
BromaS getting some good damage down around the side there, unshielded as well. So he managed to get around and get us some good hits onto Hymzi. Hymzi tries to get himself a hook in, forced a biotic grenade from his teammate there because he was taken low, and he will get dropped by BromaS. You can see he was just chipping away, blinking away at that armor, and it's continuing. Finally gets batted down by LiNkzr with the hammer, but the rest of the team come around. mafu getting a lot of damage down. Taimou will pick up HarryHook, and this will be Finland coming out on top in the defense, but Spain already causing the problems.
Yeah, Blitz are going to come in here as well. It's mostly been used over the point. Taimou needs to respond with his own here. The Pescanova shields himself through. He gets out. Winghaven will be caught eventually, but still Taimou falling there. A little bit of a wasted ult perhaps from Finland. Didn't quite work out, but it bought a few precious seconds at least.
And the hardest point of Kings Row, of course, is it's a long spawn point, and this is going to be Spain picking up the first point very early on. They're going to get one little chance to rush on through. Are they even going to contest it? It doesn't look like it. Finland are going to let them have it, and Spain pick it up very early. 5 minutes on the clock with the payload in motion.
Yeah, and so seeing Finland actually not go for the defense means that they want to use this choke here, because if they were trying to take retake the points then, they would have gotten wiped. They wouldn't have had a chance to set up here because the payload would already have moved down the street by the time they'd respawned.
So Pescanova has himself Graviton Surge. You can see HarryHook and zappis. Both Annas have that boost ready and waiting to go. Are they going to throw it over to their Reinhardts? Are they going to set up maybe a Reaper? BromaS with the Death Blossom just about ready to go. Pescanova was separated. He pushes on through. There's going to be the Graviton Surge going through. The sound barrier also comes out. Hymzi's taken low. He's going to be the first man to drop. It's BromaS that goes chasing through, trying to find mafu, but the rest of his team are picking up the kills. mafu finally gets around the side and picks up HarryHook, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done, and Spain will keep on rolling.
Beautiful biotic grenade thrown into the massive Finland players by HarryHook. No healing available for them. They couldn't do anything to withstand the storm, and it was going to be Spain that managed to out-damage them in total. Healing for Spain managed to keep them alive in that fight, and of course BromaS there as well, charging in. He's often the blunt object here for Spain to do said damage, and again, when there's no healing potential for Finland, it's very, very hard to stand up to a Reaper, especially when he's free of the Graviton Surge.
And this is the big difference, right? Hymzi has been dealt with a number of times by BromaS so far, and it's the Reaper versus the Roadhog. It is such a big fat target. It works out so well, and you can see him once again. And the duel keeps on going back and forth around the corner, trying to force him away. BromaS doesn't have that Death Blossom available. There's the Blizzard being chucked out. He does manage to get the hook in, and he will deal with him. Tseini even chiming in with one for himself on the Lucio, but there's going to be a counter Blizzard blizzard thrown out there as well by neptuNo.
Yeah, I have to see if we can actually net anything for him right now. neptuNo already forced into ice block. Pescanova, he's going to get himself that nano boost here. There's a heck of a lot for this man to do, and he has to do work right now. Getting plenty of damage down, but he's stuck in the graviton surge. A wall being placed up there. That was for Spain to disengage, but it kind of prevented Pescanova from doing any extra damage there. So they try and disengage, but they also die, and now they're scattered and split on this street. They need to regroup, and they don't have much time to do it.
That was a graviton surge used by mafu in a 3-on-3 situation, so it's clearly a call made by either mafu himself, but either way it worked out well and it forced them back. Spain were in danger of actually pushing through and capping out the second point very early on. Pescanova, of course, though, held onto his graviton surge, which was going to give them a big advantage coming into this next fight.
You can see Spain now set up on the high ground here. This means they can circumvent that choke point down that we saw the fight happen last time. With the Reinhardt here, still, there's always going to be a choke point you move forward, but this one is hard to access for Finland, so it's safe to get split up. Now they're going to have to start the fight. When BromaS going around the back, this could be nasty.
Oh, the speed boost comes around there, and he's going to get around and get straight in towards the December. He comes down, but it's not enough to block them down. There's the blizzards following up as well. Pescanova was the man that picked up the kill, and Finland, they are scattered in the wind, forced backwards. This is going to be Spain rolling on through to the final checkpoint.
They're going to keep moving. That could have been a lot nastier, that last fight, but it's still going to be Spain to win that one out. There's a bionic grenade again thrown by HarryHook, and that was just BromaS to follow up. The combo's working so well. LinePro's going to put his feet up for a little bit of rest, but it's fine because the fight is won, and Spain now looking very, very good. They're going to have an extremely large amount of time to get to this last point lead. It's looking good for the Spaniards.
Yeah, 3 minutes and counting, but Finland are going to have themselves the ult advantage in this next fight. They are the closest to charging up. Nobody got one at the moment. It's just going to start popping in. There's going to be a HarryHook, though. The big nano boost could be launched onto Winghaven, who's been going about his business very much systematically, keeping himself clean, keeping his nose down. BromaS has been the man that flanks every time. Here we go, the nano boost drops in there, gets straight away, finds Taimou. That's a massive problem. The graviton surge comes in, the nano boost goes straight back onto LiNkzr, who managed to charge himself through, but he doesn't get knocked off the map. He does manage to survive, and it's a bit of a sloppy fight engagement.
Yeah, despite this, zappis and LiNkzr getting 3 kills between them there, picking out some important players for Spain, and that Theo Shatter coming through here should be easy enough for LiNkzr to clean up. It's going to be the fire strike thrown at linepro, and BromaS going to be hot on his heels with a particle cannon. He should be able to escape. Extra damage, no, mafu needs to be careful.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to overextend here.
Yeah, indeed. Overextending was very dangerous there, especially when he had the full charge. He had the red mist descending on him, but the rest of his team made that call. He backs away. Mafu playing fantastically well there. You know him with those eyes on the hat that he's been wearing all the way through this
40%
tournament.
accuracy on his energy, sorry. 40% energy for mafu right now.
Pescanova got that graviton surge ready, waiting to go along with BromaS. BromaS didn't have the death blossom last time he dropped down. This time he does. Gonna pop on in there. The graviton surge goes down. He doesn't use it. He doesn't need to. neptuNo on the McCree that's found Taimou. There's going to be BromaS on LiNkzr. The tank is down. There's the sleep dart coming in. The flashback from neptuNo, but the rest of his team are getting picked off the side. How is this happening? Anna gets himself a kill, and Hymzi switching over to Reap against BromaS.
neptuNo actually stayed away from the graviton surge there as well, just so he wouldn't get caught in it, and also no more AoE damage that was sort of been used on the graviton would have been applied to him. The problem is he kind of stayed out of the fight for a little bit too long. He tried to flash the duo of Finland going in to capitalize and give follow-up damage, but it wasn't enough to stop them.
The big change from Hymzi over to Roadhog seems to have worked out well. There's the nano boost, goes down straight away, gets the Death Blossom, and he forces them all back to the spawn. Chases linepro all the way in, and now it's going to be a minute to go before Spain can respawn.
A bare meters away from the spawn room there, it will be linepro getting caught out. So this is a chance for Finland to actually establish some positioning here. If they want to take some high ground, they can do that. If they want to now start to deliberate what their ults are going to be used and how they're going to come together in the next couple of fights, this is when you do that as well. There's only 1 minute left for Spain here. They've squandered those 2 minutes they had pushing through. Finland have put up a staunch defense.
Remember the golden marker, it is just before the final payload point. neptuNo on the flank goes in there. Winghaven gets nano boosted up, forces it back, but this is good flanking here. Finland back away nicely. BromaS has already been dealt with. He's been booped off the side by Tseini. The charge on LiNkzr though forces him back, but he does finally get himself the kill. Pescanova picks that one up, the shield goes back up. Winghaven's dropped there, immediately comes around the side. neptuNo gets himself one and Hymzi and forces him back. It's a very even exchange, but Taimou strikes, gets himself the shots on McCree, and there's only 25 seconds to go.
neptuNo was going for the dead eye there, but it's cut short for the Spaniards, and then linepro's going to get cleaned up as well. 17 seconds left on the clock here, and Spain need to start assessing their options. Do they have the capacity to get to this payload and maintain some sort of overtime situation? They will. They're going to come forward here. They've got got a nano boost, they've got a Deadeye, that's coming out right now. Taimou's going to try and shut them down.
Can they get the shield down in time? No, they can't. They're going to get straight up towards Winghaven. He gets himself the Earth Shatter. LiNkzr flies on by, picking off one of the supports. It's linepro that goes down. Taimou falls backwards, but he's not been dealt with. He's getting themselves the shots down on Pescanova. The flashback comes in, the headshot goes down, and Finland are going to hold strong here. They will take the map on King's Row. Despite the valiant defensive efforts of Spain, it's Finland that come out on top.
You can see the relief is quite evident on the faces of the Finnish squad. They didn't make it easy for themselves, Lee, that is for sure. The payload was very, very close to the final marker, but the Finnish were able to exceed the Spaniards in their defensive efforts and get that first map. That one, for me, Lee, was definitely going to be the most telling, the most interesting map in this series. King's Row, sometimes so hard to call, very, very tricky to know who's going to have the better strategy.
Yeah, fantastic stuff as well. You just thought, you know, when Spain were holding strong, they almost held them at the first point before the payload was even moving. Just 30 seconds to go on the clock, and Finland managed to get it moving. And would you believe it? They just couldn't slow things down. The street section, I felt, was where a lot of time was lost for Spain. They were looking so solid. Remember when they got the payload moving, they had, what, 5 minutes, I believe, on the clock there. Still 3 minutes moving into the final foundry, and they could not get around that corner. Just unable to get something moving. I feel that the Hymzi change over to the Reaper was fantastic. Obviously, that worked out very well from the Roadhog.
Well, on that note, let's get a little bit more information on the team that is Spain.
And Team Spain, it's got these 3 big pro players, very experienced pro players. Then you've got 3 other guys that are experienced players, but from outside of Overwatch.
Me, neptuNo, and Pescanova, most of people don't know us, and they maybe think that we are just random players from solo queue or whatever, but we actually did play competitive, so I think we can perform really well.
neptuNo, for example, played CS at the top level, also played League of Legends, so it's not like they are new to the games.
For Spain to come together as a team, they need to listen to their in-game leader. They have HarryHook as their shot caller. He is the in-game leader for arguably one of the best teams in the world.
Our group is really good, to be honest, but I think we can make it.
We have Sweden in our group, which I believe is one of the hardest. They're really good, but of course, even though they're the favorites, we're gonna do our best and just play our game.
They have 2 of my teammates, Gypsy and Coco. Playing against them is gonna be sick. It's gonna be Anna versus Anna. I hope I wreck them.
Our team synergy wasn't really good at the start. Maybe it was me only, I don't know. The communication was messing a lot, but after playing like a lot of games, a lot of days, we started to understand each other and to play better as a team.
Speaking to Spain over the last few days, it seems that they've pulled together well as a team. They've gelled well.
It's a really nice feeling, that's for sure. Playing just for your country is probably the best. We're gonna some power.
I think this is a chance to show the world how good we are. It feels really great that you can be the captain and the face of your country.
And you heard HarryHook there talking about how they had to step up and take down Sweden. They did that. They did that in the groups. Now, can they do it against Finland? We talked about, obviously, in the pre-show, how BromaS, how HarryHook, how Winghaven, how Pescanova, these experienced players are going to have to step up to take down Finland. We saw it, it's so close there in King's Row, but now on Hanamuра, it is a very different style of game. Here on the assault maps, we saw they had a good defense on King's Row. Can they hold out this point? Obviously, Hanamura is probably arguably the hardest assault map to close out.
Well, it seems that Spain have been able to play defensively in a static context a little bit better than Finland. Their first point hold on King's Row was what actually got them in that dominant position in the first place, whereas Finland maybe not so much there, but they're going to be pushing through. They're going to be going with the Roadhog and the Reaper, which is an interesting combo, not one we always see, but Hymzi's the best Roadhog player in the West and perhaps the world, so why not put him on that hero?
He got the hook, remember, on HarryHook earlier on at the start of King's Row. Can he do it this time around? That shield, keep your eye on it. The second it drops down, he's going to be looking to try and fling it out. He sees himself the May, but the ice block was very quick to come there from neptuNo.
Yeah, big old note coming away from neptuNo here, but you can see a slow roll. Finland making the way through, of course, with the 3 tanks here. It's tough for them to really be cleaned off here. Spain eventually doing enough damage though to force them back. Pescanova has found his second. Now Hymzi just wants a pick here. He probably knows he's going to die, but if he can get a 1-for-1, that's still a bonus here. Getting rid of the Reinhardt and hanging around on the point is huge for Finland. It's a bonus.
Hymzi finally gets dealt with, and Spain will hold strong. They got themselves a couple of picks, but not a great deal. It was all about ult percentage for everyone there. And Pescanova, you can see, charged up nicely on the Zaya. He got himself a quick triple early on. So looking solid. Still 3 minutes on the board for Finland.
HarryHook off towards the side here. He does have his nano boost available, so it takes obviously a long time for Winghaven to get back, you can see. But the problem is it was a 5v5 and Finland weren't confident trying to push even with that 1v1 trade. So they're going to continue to approach this point. A sleep dart catches Hymzi somehow on the outside of LiNkzr's shield, but he's back up on his feet and ready to roll.
BromaS was tucking around the side. He's now got nano boosted. There's going to be the Death Blossom going out. He's taken very low though. Barton Grenade just about keeping him alive, but he manages to raid form out, get back in there and take down LiNkzr. Hymzi though gets the hook in. HarryHook goes down, so it's an actually even exchange, which actually gives Finland a smaller advantage because it takes a lot longer for Spain to get back in the spawn, so they have to be very defensive now.
Yeah, it depends who you trade, but it looks like that Finland are happy enough to keep going forward here. Graviton Surge comes out and Hymzi can't use the whole hog, he's frozen solid.
Gets himself the counter as well, manages to get around the side there. Pescanova picks up a quick double, so both Graviton Surge is used for both teams, and it forces Finland out once again. 2 minutes and counting.
Yeah, not good situation. If you're Finland, you don't want to trade ults with Spain and not get the point. Spain are more than happy to, spend 1 for 1. That's a positive trade for them because they're still holding the point. They have defender's advantage. They have an easier methods to charge up ultimates and do damage now, but Finland coming with 3 big ultimates and Hymzi won't quite hit that first hook.
Where is zappis going to go? Who's he going to boost up? Hymzi gets himself around the side, tries to cause neptuNo problems. The hook fling out, doesn't manage to land. LiNkzr's been picked off again by BromaS. It's Spain that go aggressive. They push on. Now, Hymzi could pop out the whole hog from side here.
Oh dear.
It's not going to happen. He gets pulled in. There's the shield on BromaS, and Finland fall again. We're down to just 1 minute on the clock, and Finland's starting to get worried.
Because of how pick-oriented Roadhog is, it seems that Finland aren't too worried about leaving Hymzi there. The problem is, if Hymzi gets caught off, delayed, doesn't get a 1-for-1 trade and taken down, that's bad news for Finland, who then have to spend time waiting for all 6 players to be ready to hit the point again.
neptuNo in a perfect position. Throw out. BromaS ready. There's the wall. It splits them half and half, and that's exactly what BromaS needed. Gets himself a quick triple, and Finland are in all sorts of trouble now. They didn't use any ultis in that fight. That's the big bonus that they have. But Pescanova sitting on that Graviton Surge in the final attack for Finland is going to be crucial.
Yeah, honestly,
Time switch to
Finland
Widow.
possibly could have won that one even without using the ult there. Sorry, Spain, should I say, from BromaS because the wall was up. But yeah, Taimou, this is now a desperation play. It's an important pick that needs to come from Taimou. He hasn't quite seen anyone now over the top side. Keep time's ticking down. You can hear the sound getting a little bit more desperate. He misses that shot as well. linepro is going to be given a stay of execution. Finland have got to go, and they've got to go now.
They're just going to Graviton Surge. The second time they run around this corner, the Graviton Surge will come out. There it is. It's going to hold them up. Is the damage coming through? BromaS gets himself on. The Blizzard gets laid on top, and mafu gets himself nano boosted up. Is it enough? He's just focusing HarryHook. He gets that one down. mafu gets a second, but the rest of Spain come rolling through, and Finland will not even get themselves a point on the board. It's contested in overtime. They're going to get the respawns, but they don't have the damage, and Spain will clear them out. They will hold the first point. Magnificent stuff. One little step comes in as Hymzi tries to hold it up. He gets dealt with, and that will be all she wrote as they keep the overtime ticking.
Yeah, stall attempts coming out from here. Finland, unfortunately, there's only so many dash heroes they can really use him, but this has bought some time. The Winston gets onto the point. HarryHook managing to deal with mafu, and that's going to be it. It will be Finland held at the gates of Hanamuра, and that's a big statement to come away from Spain after narrowly losing the first map. Now all they need to do, Lee, is capture the first point, and they will take this second map.
Spanish pride is strong in this team. They talked about how you think of Spain, you think of sports, you think of the World Cups, you think of the football teams, everything that's gone big in Spain. You don't think of esports. They've never really made a big mark in the esports world, and that is what they're looking to do here. They've already taken down Sweden. Can they topple another Scandinavian in Finland?
And remember, guys, as well, you can vote for your MVP with the hashtag #MobileMVP. We already saw Kitty get it in the first game. I'd love to know who you think at the end of this series should be getting it. There are a lot of standout players here, and we want to know your thoughts. So hit us up on Twitter with the hashtag.
So far, there is many people I would put up there. Pescanova, honestly, I would put down. neptuNo, you could think of. Not the names you would ordinarily think of coming into this one. BromaS, of course, magnificent stuff there. Many a Reaper, all Death Blossoms going out, nano boosted up, and you can see 5 ult kills from there. So all those 16 eliminations, it wasn't just the Death Blossom they were relying on.
Yeah, I mean, 87 eliminations to 13 is what we saw in that first half. So that's massive amount that Spain were ahead by. It was efficient. They were getting, I mean, positive trades, right? You know, I said even if they get 1-for-1s, it's still okay. Spain were getting more than that. Very much a good way to keep yourself comfortable and also keep those ultimates flowing.
The closest they came was the initial attack, the very first attack. And now, of course, Spain, all they need to do is capture out this first marker, capture out this first point. and they will even things up 1 apiece, and we'll be moving on to Li장타워. But that's still 4 minutes on the clock, and there's time for Finland to defend.
Well, Finland will be going with something we're kind of used to seeing from them here. They're going to be playing the triple tank, and Taimou on Mei, who is not a tank perhaps, but considered an off-tank a little bit in the way that she can absorb damage and stay alive. But mafu there as well. A right-click with a particle cannon allows him to boost up with a little bit of a higher jump. He gets an early spot on how Spain are approaching the gates.
So BromaS so big in the defense. Can he be big in the attack? Of course, look for Hymzi's hooks as well. They're going to be crucial. The walls go down. They're trying to set themselves up a wall there. You can see they were trying to edge into the right-hand side room, trying to use that to their advantage. Instead, they're just going to brute force the way through onto the left there ledge. BromaS pushing around the side. Still no initial deaths here, so this is dangerous for Finland.
neptuNo now as well. Seeing the wall placed up there, just going to work his way around it here and on towards that point. Have to throw one up in just a moment.
They've got the first marker.
This is weird. He's able to wall off the front door now, and it's going to take Finland a long time to get to the point. They're going to be slowed up. They've given over 2/3 already. This is a disaster.
That's horrific. Finland, you can see what they're doing, but the Blizzard comes out already from Spain. It's neptuNo that gets it down. Spain are going to pick this map up. They've got themselves a quick triple kill. They clear out the contested people. Mafu's going to be the man that goes down. Hymzi picked off. That's it. They've done it. Spain will take Hanomura, and Finland will be going to a 3rd map. A disastrous defensive haul from Finland.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a match now. Not unlike the first one of the day. And there are a couple of things to read into that particular situation, but Taimou placed an ice wall in front of the Spanish team. Now, while this obscured the Spanish team's vision of what Finland were doing, it also worked vice versa. Finland just got outmaneuvered there as well. A little bit of miscommunication issue perhaps, as they allowed that to happen. They allowed Spain in. They opened the door, they said, come on in, over the threshold. And it is going to be at 1 apiece here, Lee. Insane stuff.
Insane indeed, and Finland, well, forced to question themselves. Focus on the faces of the team captain there. zappis just wondering what exactly went wrong there. You can see all business. Spain not getting too carried away. They've been here before. They took down Sweden in dramatic style. And remember, of course, we went over to Li장타워 there. They've done it before. They are very good, honestly, on the control maps. I think they could do it again.
I think Sweden's hero pool at the time, or at least the way they were playing, was quite exploitable for Spain, as they had a lot of flexibility in what they could sort of pick. For Finland, I mean, some concerns might be around who's the Genji player on this team. You know, what are you going to be able to work with in that regard? You know, if we do need a Genji, especially on maps like these, we actually saw Hymzi switch over towards Genji when required. Now, you're taking possibly the best Roadhog around, and you're putting him on Genji. Now, Hymzi can play that hero, but you're losing the best Roadhog around. It's maybe not really a decision you want to make. Fortunately for Finland, I guess, and for Spain, obviously those names at the top need to be switched over. There is an answer. BromaS on the McCree, and of course Taimou also on that McCree. So even Genji might not even be an issue. It might even be assumed the Ninja will stay well away from any potential for flashes or headshots with the Peacemaker.
Let's see how it can work out. neptuNo played a magnificent Tracer before. Of course, he'd be looking to pair up his Pulse Bomb with the Graviton Surge. And really, it can be, certainly on Garden, which is the map we're moving into here on Li장타워, who can win out the initial fight. It's one of those really tough maps to try and retake.
Right, and look, if you win the initial fight, then you're obviously going to be slowly cycling through the ultimates that you build up and you gain more from in sort of subsequent fights. This is very, very important. It's not the be-all and end-all, though, here, as eventually the team behind or being forced out will have enough ults to brute force the way in.
Brute force the way around the side. neptuNo tries to get the flank in there. Taimou forced to back away, keeps himself safe, but mafu's the man that's picked up Winghaven, so that's the big tank down for Spain, and that's going to force Spain to withdraw from the initial point. It will unlock in a moment. You can see Spain, they're already backing away. I don't think HarryHook's going to get out alive. The shield will be whittled down. linepro also going to get picked off. Just about bounces back to his spawn point area. So, Finland start things off.
And that's suppressive fire if you've ever seen it coming out from Taimou there. Not only does he already have himself his first Deadeye, but he's allowed also Hymzi now to move up towards the right. You see he peeked over that little fence there. A hook across the gap from a Roadhog is deadly. Oh my god! He projects the hook on towards neptuNo! This man, I don't know what's going on in his head, but he was centimeter perfect on that hook.
That was absolutely godlike. There's no other words for it. Winghaven gets pinned to the wall, but wow, what a highlight reel there for Hymzi, just predicting a Tracer to
Right, and that's
teleport around the corner.
And a Tracer's movement speed is variable because she can blink. That's why it's so hard. But just the instinct pumping through this guy's veins enables him to hit that hook. And like I said, a hook from there is going to be deadly.
Spain got a lot of ults balled up here though. Pescanova's going to work in. Of course, the Graviton Surge was used by mafu in that last exchange to hold them steady. He's going to rush on through. The Deadeye coming around the side, so they're forced to back away. They have to respect Taimou, but the Deadeye still lands. It finds neptuNo. He got away from the shield, and Spain are forced to back away once again. They hold onto their ults.
Well, that shit was broken there as well, either by one of the shots from Taimou's Deadeye or by one of his teammates there. Picking neptuNo out is very important. But now, here's a situation that I kind of alluded to. Spain have 4 ultimates. They have that ultimate advantage, and they can use those to brute force their way in if it works out. Graviton comes in, not really great. It sort of clipped the corner of the building. Wasn't supposed to do that. And now it's going to be a naked pulse bomb thrown at LiNkzr. There was a sound barrier. Finland weathering the storm now. 2 Earth Shatters coming out of the mix. Will be a charge straight through, and neptuNo's trying to deal with Taimou on the point.
Pescanova at 100 charge, but he's not really able to make it work at the moment. He's finally getting himself chimed in, but you can see mafu's the man that's getting on the kill feed. Taimou goes aggressive. He's forced to back away. Trying to boot him out. LiNepro picks the head out from the sky. And neptuNo, the last man standing. This looks like it might be 100-0 here, Mitch.
In Finland's match against South Korea as well, Lee, Taimou was a standout. He's been playing incredibly well over this entire series, and his McCree is just frightening, especially with that nano boost. Now we're into overtime, though, Lee. Spain must reassert control.
They're not looking at neptuNo right now. He almost contested it, almost capped it out himself there. Finally, they do deal with him. Taimou gets back around, but Winghaven's picked himself up a quick kill. The Spain may well flip this on its head in the last dying seconds in overtime. Pulse bomb thrown out. It's forced LiNkzr down, and Spain will finally get the point. They're just going to force Hymzi away.
Yeah, well, mafu also needs to be pushed back. Actually, no, mafu comes straight through. HarryHook goes down now. zappis and mafu sticking together. The healer's coming out from zappis. neptuNo had to move off the point there to try and chase down. Maybe a bit of an error. He could have just hung around for a little bit longer to allow for his team to reinforce there. A bit of a slip, but you know what goes around comes around. We saw that happen earlier on in the day or in this series. The first stage will go to Finland after a bit of a messy performance from Spain. They really need to sort themselves out, Lee. And I'm not saying losing their first fight was the main reason, but it's definitely a big part of it. You must get control early on and be the team applying pressure to your opponents.
Yeah, so Garden goes the way of Finland as we move on to... I was just trying to get a glimpse off the screen there, but I couldn't quite see it. It's either going to be Night Market, of course, or the command center. It is... I can't tell from that angle. I've got to be honest.
They're looking through the I think it's command center here.
It looks like command center. Yes, here they go. They're going into the room. So, okay, command center. Command center is the map that Spain did take off Sweden, as we see them on your screens as we jump into the game. Here we go. You hear the hooks going out already, so let's get that action on the flow as they go straight into the command center. And this initial fight is so important. Winghaven's shield holds strong. That's a great wall. It separates Hymzi, but he gets around the side. The flick doesn't work. Winghaven takes down LiNkzr, and it's Spain that will come out on top in the opening exchange.
Much better lead right now for the Spaniards here. Hymzi off towards the side, to hook towards Winghaven, but yeah, pretty hard to make anything happen with that one. He will deny the health pack away from anyone pushing forward from Spain. They'll have control here of this point, and I'll be feeling who needs to set up. It's already an Earth Shatter in the works for Winghaven and a Graviton for Pescanova.
And that's going to hold them up. He could use it as early as he wants. They're all going to stack around the side. Will just throw it straight in there. Gets in there. Full charge beam going. Just going to burn through. LiNepro picking himself up a couple of kills just to finish things off. They didn't get as clean amount of kills as I'd like there, I think. Winghaven does finally get himself batted through. Hymzi will drop down. Hymzi making that change, of course. He's, sorry, Hymzi's not making the change. Taimou making that change over to the Reaper instead of McCree.
Yeah, I'm happy enough with that from Spain, though. You spend a Graviton to win a fight, right? If one ult and one fight, that's massive. That's a huge deal. So, not upset about that at all. I think that worked out reasonably well, and LiNepro getting himself a bit of damage in there. If you see a Lucio on the kill feed, it normally means that he's focusing that target. Otherwise, he's probably doing something else, booping, peeling, or healing.
Yeah. I like the right that you pull out there. neptuNo, of course, has the Blizzard available. Will toss it straight out to that point. He's going to protect it for Spain, but LiNkzr's getting himself a kill on the board there. Pescanova's going to get picked off, and Finland are going to flip this fight right on his head. neptuNo's Blizzard didn't really have any effect. They fought off away from the point. They were all picked off away from it. They should have used it backed up defensively, but instead, Finland managed to get the picks.
We see a few crucial ultimates burnt by Finland in that fight, though. It was zappis, Taimou, and Tseini using theirs. And to good effect, of course, but Spain will come back and they now need to generate some ultimate percentage themselves. It is linepro with a sound barrier, but it's unlikely Spain are going to spend any ults until they have a decent bank of them built up.
Yeah, Graviton Surge is going to be available for mafu first by the looks of it, unless something big gets landed by Pescanova in the next 5 seconds. BromaS on this McCree now working out well. Managing to get the shots down. LiNkzr actually has to pop that shield up pretty quick. Winghaven's been picked off. Sorry, got Hymzi down there. The Graviton Surge does come out on top of the Blizzard, so that's going to stack them all out there. It will be Finland that will hold strong. neptuNo is going to get popped down. You can see LiNkzr swinging away with the nano-boosted hammer. It's going to take him down, and Finland hold strong.
So linepro saved that sound barrier up until the exact moment that neptuNo had Blizzard available on May, and he used it. The problem is that Pescanova could have followed up then with the Graviton that he'd just gotten, but he died just before that. But 97% on that one there as well. A couple more seconds for Pescanova, and that combo of ultimates could have been a lot more devastating here for Spain.
Tseini using the pixel perfect accuracy there, hitting the shots as well. Pescanova, though, as you mentioned, didn't use the Graviton Surge a moment ago, has it built up, 100% built, charge as well, and you can see he's just going to force down Taimou. Manages to live there, gets out with the Graviton Surge, goes straight down, gets himself a 3-man, but Taimou picking up the kills, Hymzi gets himself 1, and another wasted ulti for Spain. They were not able to capitalize, and that may well have just won the round for Finland.
Yeah, you're starting to stress that a little bit more now if you are Spain. Pescanova getting very little for the Graviton. It's all well and good to be charged up and have 100 charge on your particle cannon, but the follow-up must be there. Taimou now just going to make his way straight through. Not quite the bulldozer he would have liked to have been. He will fall, and Finland have to give some ground here.
Yeah, that's the DPS man down. That actually could backfire on them quite badly here, because neptuNo's got Blizzard. BromaS pops out the pulse bomb. LiNkzr's going to get forced down. There's the Graviton Surge. Doesn't really catch anyone for mafu there. So a lot of ultis being wasted out by Finland as they lose 2 members. Mafu goes down. Hymzi gets picked off. neptuNo still holds on to that Blizzard. Doesn't use it, and suddenly a great fight for Spain backfires badly for Finland as they went aggressive.
Yep, too aggressive from Taimou, who went forward, and everyone in Finland followed him up. They had such self-belief in Taimou that he'd be able to get all the kills quite easily. If Taimou was given a shield from mafu, it was burst down very quickly, because Spain received Taimou, they dealt with him, and then they called out the rest of the Finnish players that were too far extended.
And this is a real problem, because look at the ultis, look at Spain, they have the big advantage here, despite the fact Finland, of course, on 99%. Winghaven swings away, swing and a miss. HarryHook catches Taimou down, that's the damage dealer down. Spain may as well just sit back on their laurels. They don't need to burn too many ultis. They're going to throw down the Blizzard, though. It's a little early. I'm not too sure they needed that, because they were already looking good in this fight, and they will hold on to a number. That's, I don't know, I gotta be honest, I felt they used a little too much there, and it may give Finland a little chance, but that is it. 2-0, and Spain, well, they're back right in it. 1-1 all square.
And that's a capitalization on a big error made by Finland. You are ahead in ults. You have a lot to work with. You have a Death Blossom. I believe they had a nano boost at the time. I understand that you want to force Spain back and prevent them from being able to set up onto the point, but you have more ultimates. Just sit back. Instead of pushing Taimou forward, one man gets picked off, it's a 65, and that is an advantage in men, especially when you lost your DPS player, that is exacerbated very quickly. Because not only are you 5v6, you've only got 1 DPS player against at least 2 of theirs.
So, Night Market is next. 5 rounds, of course, will be played on Li장tawo. Well, if we need it, whoever reaches 3 first will come out on top. Night Market, all about the duel, all about this opening exchange. Who will come out on top? And McCree's aplenty.
Both teams will take to the field, or I guess the courtyard here to stand and deliver. The winner of this fight will get to have the prize of the point. But we'll get to that in a second now. We do see Winghaven coming forward, bouncing back, putting his shield up. That's a beautiful hook on a BromaS. What a great way to start this fight by taking one of the most dynamic players on Spain's team out of the picture.
And that is why you bring the Roadhog to the table. That's exactly what you're looking for. If he doesn't land the hook, it can cost you that team fight. But if it lands, it almost guarantees you the fight. Winghaven pulled in. He's not going to be able to get out of there alive. But Taimou picks himself up a quick double. It's Finland that will start out on top.
Spain getting served a one-way ticket to Hook City, and it's Hymzi at the fore. Perfect play by him, and not just his hooks are accurate, by the way, Lee, but notice his right clicks. He's always working on shields. He's trying to get that one, the big headshot that you can sort of one-shot the 200 to 250 HP heroes with. But Spain now going to come back in. They've got a Blizzard. This is going to be important. Keep an eye on neptuNo.
Well, there's the Blizzard getting tossed straight out there from neptuNo. He's going to get onto mafu. Does finally get himself the kill. Hymzi, that's a big fat hit point target to try and work your way through, but he will get the big punch in the end there. BromaS, though, gets himself one, but LiNkzr with the Earth Shatter very early on. Holds on and defends this point. He feels he's got the backup coming. There's the sound barrier going down, and they will hold the point. Finland, in a 3v4 situation, come out on top.
Tseini and zappis, the dynamic duo of the supports here, they were the big players in that fight for Finland. The sound barrier was crucial. It kept LiNkzr alive, allowed him to be the blunt object and do the damage, and zappis got 2 kills with his biotic darts off towards the side. Finishing off those low health enemies, that's what you've got to do with Anna.
Taimou was sitting on 70% accuracy for a fair amount of time at the initial start. He's just dropped to 68%, so
that's ridiculous,
we'll let him off with a couple of shots going astray.
It's disgusting accuracy.
Coming in, however many minutes into this game. So 57% and counting, but Spain is sitting on a plethora of ultis, and this time you've got to feel they're going to come out on top. Look towards Pescanova. He's the man that's going to try and start things off. You can see BromaS trying to get around the side there. Pescanova is holding it. He's trying to bait them in effectively, just trying to draw them in. Now he has himself his full charge. Winghaven's picked off LiNkzr. That's a big kill. The tank down for Finland as they push in. The graviton surge countered by the nano boost.
Yeah, sound barrier that was very important. Good timing by linepro to get his team protected, and that's going to be the Earth Shatter coming down. Winghaven's put to sleep though, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. neptuNo though, BromaS dodges a fire strike from LiNkzr here, and the point, it's being flipped for Spain now. Finland must respond if they want to maintain control.
But Pescanova got hooked out. He didn't get to use the graviton surge. He got taken down by Hymzi. Taimou strikes, but Hymzi's back in there. neptuNo with the icicle to the face of Taimou. But still, Finland hold the point. They have to get on to touch it. It's in overtime now, and at the moment, Finland still holds strong at 100-0. They're going to hold on. They've got it.
Well, it went all the way. Yet another game today that has gone to all 3 maps, but it is going to be Finland that hang on again here, and they're looking, well, honestly, not that pleased with themselves. I guess the fact that they're in this position in general, they're probably not overjoyed about, but a good performance from them, and that sets them one more stage from taking victory in this series.
Really intrigued to see the comms, obviously, for Spain in that final fight, because as we said, they had the advantage. They had 5 ultis sat ready to go, but they held on to them. Pescanova with that graviton surge didn't fire it and then got hooked out of there, and suddenly that big ult is removed from the game, and the whole fight fell into tatters from there. So real problematic as we move back into command center. Of course, this was the first map that Spain picked themselves up the round. They're going to have to do it again.
Yeah, and the thing is, Finland lost this stage with a bit of an overextension, I think it's safe to say. A bit of a miscommunication. They were very, very strong for quite a large amount of things, but look at that. Taimou put to sleep, a wall put up for good measure, and now Spain will take aggressive positioning on this point. Look how far forward Winghaven was, but he's knocked out of the way. Nice charge from LiNkzr to get rid of the shield.
BromaS tries to get around the side, but he's quickly dealt with by Taimou, and now neptuNo is going to be the target. He gets booted away, ironically, away from Taimou's bullet, so it saves him just a moment. Hymzi picked off by Winghaven as Taimou tries to look for the flank. Still keeps the left click blinking away with that peacemaker onto Winghaven, not able to find his target. HarryHook now gets focused, and he will get dropped down. Taimou strikes, and Finland pick up the point.
That's the thing, if Taimou is allowed to have space, or if space is created for him, he's going to be the single biggest thorn in the side of Spain. And players like LiNkzr, as you saw earlier on, did that. He moved Winghaven out of the way, so Taimou has an easy angle and plenty of shots to fire, or at least space to do so. If Taimou gets jumped on, he's going to struggle here. Obviously, it's quite hard without a flash, and that's what Spain need to target.
Spain have got a good amount of ults, but so do Finland. Sound barrier available if they would require it. Blizzard's going to get tossed out by neptuNo as he tries to push on around, but this is good. The reactions from Finland, they've evacuated the site, so they're happy to go for the retake situation. Nothing comes from it. Hymzi in the end hooks out neptuNo, takes him down, and it's Spain's turn to back away, or more importantly, get dropped down as Finland reacted brilliantly in that defense.
Now, all good charge. That's linepro put up against the wall with another swing, and Winghaven not far behind. Perfect stuff from Tseini, by the way. He helped Finland disengage from the Blizzard from neptuNo, and then as soon as that first hook came away from Hymzi, it was onto neptuNo, by the way. The 65 was there, and then Tseini drops the beat, gives him a bit of an overshield into the fight to secure things for Finland.
Mafu sitting on the graviton surge, probably going to charge at them the second they come around, but Pescanova might try and get a counter back on that, so they've got to be careful they don't group. Look at the protection for Taimou. Taimou on that left ledge, being protected. Sitting there is Tseini alongside him, and at the moment nobody's touching him, and that's a real problem for Spain. The graviton surge comes through, the sound barrier quickly reacts from linepro, and Winghaven finally picks himself up a kill. Now they're going to see the nano boost down on BromaS. He gets himself one on Mafu. Tseini will finally get around the side. Taimou is dealt with. but at last, Spain flipped the point.
We saw the Graviton Surge come in there, but it was actually Winghaven who charged out of it, actually hit the first target, and BromaS was then brought into play with the Death Blossom and the Nano Boost, just the combo Spain needed to break the deadlock. And now Finland need to regroup a little bit more. This Nano Boost should probably be held onto for a little while, and probably apply it to Taimou or LiNkzr if it was required. Not worth it to use on Hymzi, but you notice that Finland now as well, they're going to send Taimou up on high here. A Nano Boost to Deadeye from this position could be quite devastating to Spain.
It can hit through any shield very quickly. Going to charge him up, they're going to try and set this one up. Here he goes, gets himself the position, looks for the rest of the team, but good reactions from Spain. They backed into the command center room, away from vision, but Taimou just drops on down, gets the left click working, and takes down Winghaven and linepro, and the point is quickly switched in Finland's favour. Mitch, it's 80%. Spain are going to be careful they don't lose it right here.
Yeah, they take the point, but they actually haven't won the fight, so Spain are still on their feet. They're still moving in numbers right now, and Taimou's forced out of position. Takes down HarryHook, but he has to pay dearly in terms of his HP. And in the meantime, guess what? Spain have put the flag back in the ground, they've retaken control, and Finland need to do it all over again.
Looking at Spain, they have good ultis stacked up here. Pescanova's going to have his Graviton Surge as well as Mafu back and forward, but neptuNo sitting on that Blizzard is going to be very helpful in stacking them towards the 91% marker that Finland have already posted. Once again, Taimou up on high. Now, there's no real ranged hit scan to be able to deal with him. BromaS sits there, gives him a vision, says, okay, we know he's up there, somebody has to deal with him.
McCree's spurs are really easy to hear, so if there's an enemy McCree walking towards you, you kind of know. It's like the walking Texas Ranger movies, you know. But now it's going to be the sound barrier used and also a Graviton Surge as Taimou needs to take Pescanova out. The big double headshot, not bad. Not quite enough to get the job done though. But a Graviton Surge was used now. Taimou, he has space. He has the dead but no! Slick dart comes in. Perfect from HarryHook. Going to get the kill on LiNkzr to boot.
BromaS sitting on the Death Blossom. He's going to hold on to it. That's really ballsy play from Spain because they realized they'd won out the fight. Now that was so crucial. Pescanova, he didn't get taken down and then immediately used the Graviton Surge. If Taimou would have landed that shot, it could have won it for Finland right there.
It's 91 to 91 and even more now. Spain starting to stretch their legs a little bit more and get a bigger lead. BromaS goes in with a Death Blossom, but no one's there to see it. Finland going to be avoiding this one and getting around him here. They're on the point. They've got the overtime here, but only one player there. Spain are going to go back and try and get rid of him. And neptuNo takes down Tseini, and you can see LiNkzr now being focused through. He had a little bit of damage reduction, but it might not be enough.
Hymzi and LiNkzr comes on through. Pescanova picked up. LiNkzr with the hammer. He's swinging away. Winghaven doing what he can, but he's picked in the corner. Can't manage to get a pin. Taimou comes on through. Finland may well have just done it. They flipped the point. It's 91% and counting. Spain have to get back out there fast. Pescanova has himself the Graviton Surge. They've got to push now. They need somebody on the point. BromaS has to get himself a win on there. No time. Finland will do it. They are through to the semi-finals to face Russia.
The adrenaline is so real, and you can see the relief on the players' faces. It doesn't get much closer than that, Lee, and both of our maps so far, our matches, should I say, have given us the same result. And of course, BromaS, I don't blame him for being upset. I don't blame him. So close to victory there against Finland, the team that was supposed to be the best in Europe by far. Well, a valiant performance from Spain, though, to keep it up against them. A couple mistakes really let them down towards the end. LiNkzr, the one-man army, had himself a nano boost here, so let's not forget to mention zappis' role in that. But he really held things down and saved Finland's bacon.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Congratulations to Finland on reaching the semi-finals. Commiserations for Spain. Let's get over to Rachel and the guys.
Thank you so much, D-Man. Thank you, Uber Shouts. Great job casting that match, and what a match it was. Finland coming out ahead of Spain, but just barely. Monty, what did you think of that?
I think that as we started this match, Spain had a really good answer to what they knew Finland was going to throw at them, which was 3-tank Hanzo, 3-tank Reaper, maybe even the 4-tank. We didn't see the 4-tank in this particular match, but they came in with the standard Beyblade composition, running Reaper May, the stuff we saw Misfits sort of develop earlier this year. And that was really strong for a while, and I think that the necessary change that we had to see Finland make was to move to that McCree, try and abuse range and let Taimou really open up a lot of space, and that's really what drove Finland forward from that point.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that Spain had the upper hand when it came to team coordination and taking good engagement, but Finland, they really just won fights based on like individual plays on Taimou and LiNkzr even in the end there with the nano boost, you know, coming through and just pushing it.
Well, that was the thing. That's kind of what we were saying going into this one, right? Is that if Finland was able to kind of take those individual performances and push them all the way, they might be able to kind of just edge out what Spain was able to do team coordination-wise. You saw Taimou at the end there getting like triple kills, quadra kills right in a row. And
Yeah.
What can you do against that?
And
Can't stop the guy.
once they made that change, Spain looked a lot less comfortable than we saw them initially. We didn't see neptuNo going back to the Tracer, where he was a Tracer for a large part of those group stages previously, and neptuNo didn't have that same impact today, I really felt, as he did earlier on in the Overwatch World Cup.
Yeah, he looked very shaky, even on King's Row. He started off pretty shaky on the Mei, and then
His Mei was not great.
Yeah, and then he switched back to Mei on the final rounds of Lijiang there, and he played very robotic-like, I'd say. Like, they have the team coordination, they have a plan, and he just does his thing. He walls and he ultimates, but he doesn't adapt to the fight, and he just doesn't have the same impact as another Mei could have.
Well, if I can say in those moments that DPS doesn't shine, their supports definitely did. We saw some great plays from HarryHook. We saw some really interesting stuff from Spain.
Well, I think that it was the tank line, and particularly Winghaven, that
Absolutely.
was a huge factor